What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be doing a Manchester City transfer update. Do remember, I am going to be doing daily Manchester City transfer updates from January 1st throughout the January transfer window to keep you guys up to date here on YouTube every single day with all the latest Manchester City transfer news. I'm expected to be a very busy winter-January transfer window, so you do want to stay up to date. So the best way that you can do that is by subscribing, pressing that red button, pressing the bell and putting your push notifications on. That will keep you up to date, and also it is free to do. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description as well. If you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries, do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And finally, please do leave a thumbs up. We're aiming for 200 likes. So, on to the outers. We've got no contract news. We've got the very latest on Manchester City goalkeeper Stefan Ortega Moreno. Now, Florian Plettenberg has been speaking and said that Bayer Leverkusen over in Germany like Stefan Ortega, and they're keeping an eye on his development and also keeping an eye on his development for his situation at Manchester City. Remember, back in the summer, he signed a 12-month extension to his Manchester City contract. He wants to see if he's going to become number one at Manchester City, and if we get a commitment from Edison between now and the end of the season, like him signing a new contract, then I'm expecting Stefan Ortega to tell Manchester City that he wants to leave to pursue to become a first choice goalkeeper. Is he going to manage to make that happen at Bayer Leverkusen? That remains to be seen. I expect that every summer we get a little bit of a goalkeeper transfer merry-go-round going on from teams in Europe, and if Stefan Ortega it's made clear to other clubs that he's available for transfer, then I imagine there'll be a lot of teams interested in him. So I'm keeping an eye on them developments as well, but Bayer Leverkusen making their interest known already in November. It's thought that Man City aren't interested in selling Stefan Ortega in the upcoming January transfer window. Now, moving on, we've got the latest on Rodri and Relevo over in Spain have said that Real Madrid continue to love Rodri and they see him as an ideal midfielder for them, days after refusing to attend the Ballon d'Or and refusing to congratulate Rodri, and they threw a massive tantrum over the awards, whilst Rodri was mocking and making chants about Vinicius Jr. This gave me a really good laugh, this, but if I was Manchester City and obviously Rodri manages to get over his injuries, I'm not expecting there to be any contract negotiations whilst he's recovering from his serious knee injury. I imagine that once it becomes clearer about how Rodri's recovery is going, that Man City would be interested in extending Rodri's contract, and they'd want a wage that's going to reflect Rodri's importance to Manchester City and also the fact that he's now a Ballon d'Or winner, the best football player in the world. He will want a very big wage, because if we don't, I'll tell you right now, Real Madrid will, and there'll be other clubs, Saudi Arabia for example, who will be willing to pay Rodri a very, very serious number. So Manchester City, I'm hoping we can tie this up as quickly as we can. It's obviously going to be quite a long one, and Real Madrid are going to keep putting pressure onto Manchester City to try and force a sale for Rodri to go to them rather than keeping him at Manchester City. But if I was City, I'd just point to Rodri and just say, do you remember when Real Madrid refused to acknowledge you and refused to attend the awards ceremony because they didn't think you were worthy enough to win the Ballon d'Or, and they wanted it to go to their player, who in my opinion wasn't even Real Madrid's best player last season? Is that a club where he wants to go, where he's going to be disrespected? Does he not want to stay at a club where he's eternally loved, that everybody loves Rodri, everyone wants to keep Rodri here? Or does he want to go to the poisonous club at Real Madrid? That'd be a decision for Rodri to make, and I'd hope that it'd be a pretty simple decision as well, going off the antics from Real Madrid at the Ballon d'Or. But Real Madrid's still making their interest known, which I found ironic and also quite laughable. Moving on to the ins, one manager Manchester City are not going to be appointing is Ruben Amorim. It was believed that with Man City appointing sporting director Hugo Viana that Manchester City would be interested in appointing the sporting CP manager. However, it's been confirmed by Manchester United that he is now their new manager after the international break. So Ruben Amorim will be in charge for sporting CP's game against Manchester City on Tuesday evening, and Manchester City, if they're wanting another manager, if Pep Guardiola does decide to leave, then we're going to have to go elsewhere, and the easy option of Ruben Amorim isn't going to happen. Now, moving on, we've got the very latest on Jamal Musiala, and he's confirmed in an interview that he's happy at Bayern Munich, and he's currently in discussions with them to negotiate a new contract which will keep him there long term. If Jamal Musiala signs that new contract, then that is, as far as I'm concerned, the end of the Musiala chase for Manchester City. And if Kevin De Bruyne does end up leaving Manchester City in the summer with his contract up, then we're going to need a replacement, and Musiala would be, to me, priority number one. If that can't happen, then it points towards another player, and we have an update on that other player. Comes in the form of an update on Florian Wirtz. Now, Florian Plettenberg over in Germany has said that Real Madrid have made first contact with Bayer Leverkusen. It's in the early stages. Manchester City have been informed of the developments. Leverkusen do not want to sell Florian Wirtz to Bayern Munich, despite interest coming in from them. If he is to be sold, they would prefer to sell him to a foreign club. Now, Bayer Leverkusen are still hopeful that Florian Wirtz will sign a new contract and stay there. I think a lot here depends on what's going to happen with their manager, Xabi Alonso. If he decides to leave Bayer Leverkusen, and he has been linked with the Manchester City manager's job should Pep Guardiola decide to leave, then that surely gives Man City a hand in potentially trying to prize Florian Wirtz away from Bayer Leverkusen if he, of course, decides to leave. Now, Florian Plettenberg have said that Manchester City are keen on Xabi Alonso and are keeping an eye on him, of course, with Pep Guardiola not signing a new contract as of yet. But it's believed that Real Madrid are also interested in appointing Xabi Alonso as their new manager. And right now, as we speak, Real Madrid are favourites to both appoint Xabi Alonso as their new manager should Carlo Ancelotti decide to leave or he's sacked. And they're also favourites now to sign Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen. It isn't ruled out that Xabi Alonso, like Florian Wirtz, could sign a new contract and decide to stay there. What Bayer Leverkusen want to avoid at all costs is ensuring that their manager and their star player don't end up at Bayern Munich. If Man City do want Xabi Alonso, we could do with a decision from Pep Guardiola sooner rather than later. And if we do want Florian Wirtz, we could do with getting that ball rolling pretty soon, because Real Madrid have already got that ball rolling. And to miss out on Musiala and Wirtz and Manchester City, lose Kevin De Bruyne all in one summer, isn't good news. Who are Manchester City going to decide to go with instead remains to be seen. Lots of names being chucked out there. Very interested in terms of the transfer window, not just for next summer, but also the January winter transfer window as well. And remember, I'm going to be doing daily Manchester City transfer updates throughout the whole January transfer window. I know Pep Guardiola's remained coy on what's going to happen in January, played down that Man City could do any business, but I think Man City would be foolish right now with the injury crisis that we're having, how stretched the squad is, and we've got serious injuries to both Oscar Bob and Rodri, that we wouldn't be interested, considering we've got cash to spend, to dip into the market and bring in a couple of players to try and ease Manchester City's problems, including having a look at central midfielders. Maybe they want to have a look at a potential De Bruyne or Kyle Walker replacement, but I think one of the priorities has got to be, we're one serious injury away for Erling Haaland from our season being an absolute disaster because we don't have a backup striker. We sold Julian Alvarez in the summer for £80 million and not replaced him, and we've got a serious injury to Oscar Bob, and we're missing the best player in the world in Rodri as well. Facts as well, because he won the Ballon d'Or. So some very serious problems at Manchester City that we need to think about. So hopefully we will address these problems in the January transfer window, and we'll go in and do some business and be able to try and get our season pushing further to see if we can win some of them big prizes come the end of the season, including the Premier League and Champions League trophy. So there we go. That has been today's video. Don't forget, leave a thumbs up. That would be great. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. It is free to subscribe. Social media links, including my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, there in the description if you want to go and follow me on there. Email also in the description too. Going to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. And I'll be back again for another transfer video very soon for you guys. And we'll be back again tomorrow ahead of the preview for Manchester City's away game against Sporting Club de Portugal in the Champions League. So I'll see you then. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.